What is up, everyone? I am Joe DeHoyos. I'm host of the Beyond the Woodline. Thanks for joining me tonight. Whether you're watching from home, listening on the road, or just curious about the unknown, you're in the right place. Tonight, Don Yazzie returns for another conversation about the mysteries and to continue to capture our imagination. Uh, Pull up a chair, keep an open mind, and let's journey beyond the woodline. What is up, Mr. Don? How are you doing today, buddy?
Hey, not too bad, Joe. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Thanks a lot for joining the show. This is the second time you've been on. This is actually our third attempt. I remember the second attempt, man, we had all kinds of issues and problems, and we couldn't get you on. But now we got you on, and I'm just glad to have you on here finally, and able to talk about all this crazy stuff that happens in our world that most people probably don't even think about on a day-to-day basis. Um, I think a lot of I don't know if people just aren't interested or they walk around with blinders on, and they don't see what's around them a lot of times. And
Mm.
I think there's a lot more that goes on in even in big cities. It doesn't have to be in just abandoned woods or abandoned building out in the middle of the country somewhere. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on in big cities too, and people just kind of walk by it every day. And that's part of the reason why I think I love this subject so much. We get to talk about it, and investigate it, and research it, and uh, not just me and you, but you get to talk to different people. I get to talk to different people, and everybody gets to put their heads together, and kind of compare notes and just listen to other people's experiences. And yeah, some of the stuff sounds crazy, right? But sometimes the crazy stuff is actually most believable. It's we live in a crazy world, man. But yeah, real quick, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and talk about your show a little bit too?
Mm. Hello, everyone. My name is Don Yazzie. I am host of Don't Whistle at Night. We're a podcast on the United Public Radio Network, uh, airing out of New Orleans, 107.7 FM, and the Gulf Coast, Mississippi, 105.3 FM. If you guys aren't already listening, hello, hello. I am from the Navajo Nation out of Monument Valley area, right along the border of Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. The beautifully high, strange area where things are better left unknown in most cases. So that's a little bit of intro I
Yeah,
can give.
no, that's good,
But
man.
yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you, so what actually got you into this subject? Like what got you to say, I want to investigate this, and I want to research all this.
Uh, it runs in the family, I can say. It goes all the way back to our identity. It's all the way back to what makes me who I am, which is Dene Navajo. My clan is Hadzohe, so it means yucca strung out on a line yucca fruit. And one of the things about that clan is that uh we are very we're really we are really susceptible to negative energy, dark energy. Uh, we feel people's intentions, whether it be dark, evil. We feel it, whether it be in the night when everyone don't want to go outside. Us, we're the ones willing to go outside with a spotlight and with a huge gun. So we're willing to go check out what goes bump in the night. And all the way back since 5 years old, I've been spotlighting with my mother. She had a Jeep, uh, a little tiny Jeep, and That thing got around everywhere. So we would break up parties on the reservation to uh, locating sheep and horses, and spotlighting was one of my favorite things. In our family, we all enjoyed spotlighting and four wheeling early in the mornings to into the night, all night. And we've come across so many things out there, from skinwalkers, dogmen, to Bigfoot, uh, UFOs, portals. Man, little people. There's probably some things that I'm leaving out. So
Yeah.
there's things that walk around that are nocturnal, and within our culture, we were told that they are the children of the night and we are the children of the day. And the night belongs to them. That's their world. So we're told to stay inside at all costs, stay inside. Because if you're out there, these things will take you, and we'll never see you again. You're going to be gone, because there's portals on the reservation. There's little people on the reservation that kidnap kids, that kidnap women. Not only little people, Bigfoot, he likes them as well, especially during pinyon season. He likes to take females. Uh,
And what season is that? What do you call it? And for people who don't might not understand that.
oh, pinyon season. There's a few times that comes in season, but the main time it really comes in seasons in early October. So in the fall, all the pinon trees, they have little tiny they have like pinon nuts. They'll fall to the ground, and they'll all
Okay.
be scattered on the forest floor. And we'll be on the ground going through the pine cones, the pine needles, and the pinons, and picking the pinon nuts and grabbing them, putting them in a bag. We take them home, we wash them, and we roast them with salt, and we sell them. And they're very delicious and salty. Really, really great healthy foods. And a lot of us love that here in the Southwest and the West area.
Okay. And it would probably make sense that they probably love them too.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're picking them too, and they're like, "Hey, oh hey, it looks like we got a side here." So that's what they do.
You mentioned the little people, and that's one of the subjects that has always fascinated me, and I've never been able to like really get someone nailed down to talk about that. Most people I think have limited knowledge on that. Which I'm probably included in that group. Um, what do you know about little people? Where do they come from, and what's their role? I guess you could say.
Well, my knowledge is still increasing with the little people. Knowledge about them is very, very, very interesting on its own right. That little people on the subject belongs on its own can of worms. Because when you go after those guys, when you investigate them, a lot of Christians say that they're demons, and some people call them that are non-religious shadow people, but they'll be tiny, they'll be shorter, running around. As a child, when we buried my grandmother, we she passed away after I was witched. My hair was cut. We dealt with a skinwalker a long time ago. My uncle took the skinwalker. He was a medicine man. Took his wife, and the medicine man came, cut my hair, was about to take me and my grandmother at the same time, but he took my grandmother's life. Told my uncle that. He said, "You took my wife. I took your the woman that you love, your mom." And over time, my uncle was learning from him, so they made peace. And that medicine man, that skinwalker, lost his apprentice, his wife. So he took my uncle in to teach him mysterious ways, some ways that are very dark. And the whole time that my uncle was learning, he deep down in his heart, he was going to get even. And in due time, he did. And so my grandmother, we put her in the ground. A lot of us were dealing with horrible nightmares. My mother, my aunts, everyone was waking up crying. No one was leaving the room probably for about 2 weeks. My uncle, he started doing crystal meth. He was gone. My grandpa, he was on a drinking spree. and it was just me in the house. I can't remember how I got by, but everyone was sad, and I was like 6 years old, and I remember I fell asleep on the couch, and I got up from a horrible nightmare, sweating. I was sweating really bad, and I had a feeling that someone was watching me. I sat up and I looked right underneath the table, directly underneath the table. The kitchen light was on, hallway light was on. The dining room table was in front of me by the couch, and I seen this little person. He was on the table legs. He was playing peekaboo like this behind the table, the four legs. I seen him, and I guess he realized that the jig is up. This guy sees me, so he stops trying to hide, and he stands up straight. He stands up out of that corner of the table, and his clothing is his own unique style. It was like green, it was green, and he had a hat, but it wasn't pointy like a gnome. It was the best way I can describe it was kind of like backwards, kind of tilting back like this, and it kind of looked like Peter Pan. That's the closest thing I can look. I can tell you describe that it looked like. And his ears was like an elf ears, and he wasn't white, he wasn't brown, he was right in between that color. And he uh he looked towards the kitchen hallway, because the kitchen hallway takes you to the kitchen, then it goes down another hallway, goes out to the back door, garage, and out, and that's the exit. So this thing looked that way and looked back towards me, and I was frozen stiff sitting up on the couch, and it ran towards the kitchen and went down. And I heard the door open and close, and as soon as the door closed, I snapped out of it, and I finally got up and looked underneath the table. Yeah, I looked at the door, and damn, yeah, I was scared. I was really scared.
And did you
That
tell
was the
anybody
first time
about
I seen
this?
one. No, just the podcast, just the
Oh, really?
podcast and my
Okay.
co-host. Yeah, that's one of the things that I always believed, that it was just I never put anything on it. I threw it in the back burner, among with my Sasquatch encounter, seeing the Dogman, playing with the Ouija board. I mean, everything. I just threw it in the back, and I suppressed it all. And I think it's just about time to bring it all out and share awareness and education about it. So the little people, they go back within a lot of Native American cultures. The Sioux, they have another. Every tribe has a name for them, but there's a tribe out there in Montana called the Crow Agency, and their deities are the little people. They help them
Okay.
out. They give them good luck. And one of the things they say, that they're making sure that the grass grows, the sun comes out, and the trees grow, the water flows. So they make sure all the elements is going in play for them. And the Blackfeet, they have a society, the Little People Society. They make deals with them, they trade with them. Every tribe has a society where they deal with Sasquatch or Bigfoot, or they have knowledge of both. They still make deals and trades with them. And uh, so within the Navajo ways, that we do not touch a tree that is struck by lightning, because lightning is one of the holy entities. If you touch it, it'll bring bad luck. And one of the other tribes in the Northwest, that's related to us, they say that the little people, they take those trees that are struck by lightning, and it burns the whole entire root system, and it connects with the underground passage and tunnels that's already beneath the reservations that little people dwell. They live in the alternate place, like alternate reality type of deal, but underneath the subterranean type of people. So they take things from us. Like right now, I lost my Canon camera. I cannot find it right now. So be careful what you covet, because they'll take it from you. And so there's strange things that they do. And around one of the popular stories that comes out of my wife's area is that this one kid, he's exploring this mesa, and he comes across this duende, this little person, but he's dressed like a Native American, but very miniature, probably like about 8 inches tall or so around there. He's dressed just like a wild native, and he told him, "Hey, let's go." And so he basically kidnapped him. And every other 25 years to 50 years, he comes back and checks on his relatives, and he tells them, "I'm your great great grandpa that was taken at this time." And there's stories like that where little people take a person and allow that person to come back to visit his family every now and then. And he always has to tell his family that I have to go back because they're teaching me a lot of things that is gonna be very helpful to humanity in the future. And I have no idea what that is. So
Yeah.
we're told to stay away from one specific mesa because the little people might take you.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that I worked with. This is, man, longer than 30 years ago because I was maybe 20, 21. And uh, this is like before I was like even thought about investigating and research. As much as I loved all this crazy stuff, uh, we were talking about Bigfoot and paranormal stuff, and he told me that when he lived in Mexico. His name was Juan, crazy crazy guy. But he was telling me that they lived up in the mountains in a small little village, and uh, he says he remembers one night his brother came home, run through the door, and was just like bawling, got in the corner of the house, and he was balled up and just shaking and saying that the little man was chasing me, the little man was chasing me, and that's all he would say. And his mom said, "You need to tell me what happened. You need to tell me what happened," because she knew of the little people. I forgot what they called them over there in Mexico, but he was saying that he had went out for the night. I think he went to the city. He came back, and as he was walking through the woods, um, he heard footsteps behind him, and he said there was a little person behind him that was like maybe like knee high to him, um, and that he was walking and he was laughing. And he said he started walking faster and walking faster, and the faster he'd walk, the faster that the little person would walk, and eventually he was running, and this thing was running with him. And I don't mean to say this thing, but this little person was running with him, uh, and just laughing the whole time, you know, knowing that he was scaring the guy, and following him all the way to the house. And I don't know what that was all about, but he definitely was trying to either get him out of somewhere or just trying to have some fun and scare this guy, But it scared him pretty bad.
Hey, that reminds me of a story that was told to me by a gentleman out near Page, Arizona. He's a blue collar guy. He was leaving work in Iowa, and he was still in the state of Iowa. He was near a lot of cornfields, and he said that onto the passenger side, just right on the road, off the road, I guess. He said that he's seen a little person, probably about 3 feet tall, running beside him, and he said that he started pushing the gas. Pretty soon, he was going 90 miles an hour. Looked over, this thing was still running with next to him. He said that this thing ran with him all the way from Iowa to Page, Arizona, to his house, and he had to get some a medicine man over just to get that thing away from him. So something followed him all the way from Iowa. And one of the earliest stories that I realized that little people were real was coming from my uncle. I was probably 12 years old, probably 10 years old. My uncle was rebellious. He'd like to take off and party, whatnot, with the party crowd on the reservation. And one night, uh, I guess the car conked out by the bridge. By a bridge is well known to have trolls, aka little people, around that bridge, sitting on the bridge, whether it be jumping or hopping along, doing like some flipping motions along the bridge side while someone's driving. And while someone's walking on the road, they would hear them playing underneath the bridge. There's like a little dried out wash bed that the bridge goes over, and people park down there too and party. And he was near that bridge. This car conked out. There was four of them and one dude went towards one of our family members' area. He went to go that way to go get help. Three of them. I guess it was the summertime. It was full moon, and they all got out of the car. They sat on one sat on the hood, one sat on top of the very top of the car. My uncle sat on the trunk, and he was laying down, kind of like on the back window at an angle, looking around. So everyone was looking around and relaxing. So probably like about an hour later, he said he sat up. He had a weird feeling something wasn't right, like he's being watched. And this part of Monument Valley, is there's no trees. There's only desert willow trees in the forest. There's only a little bit of brushes in the forest, and there's bushes around, probably about 3 feet tall by 4 feet wide to 3 feet wide. So there's a lot of these black bushes everywhere. And he's scanning around, sitting there very quietly, looking around, and he heard a noise, like one of the weirdest, strangest noise that he said gave him the creep. I think he believed that. I believe that. I remember that he said it was like some kind of weird whistle, like a small, short whistle. He looked that way, and where it was bush, there was a bush. He said there was a figure standing on top of that bush, and this thing was looking around. He said it kind of reminded him of a prairie dog house, like looking around, and this thing had a gnome, like a pointy hat. He said, and you can tell from the moon that it was red. So this thing was looking around like this, and it jumped out of that bush, boom, and then it ran. It kind of like took a few more hops. He said it was hopping, and it was looking around, and then it made a noise and another little short whistle, and one by one these things were popping out where that guy was, and they were jumping out of that. There was more. He said probably like about 12 came out, probably 13, and one was up on that bush just keeping a lookout, and he said he couldn't move. Everyone was on the car. They were either sleeping, everyone was quiet, and these things were going bush to bush, digging underneath the bush, like harvesting root or something. He said they were harvesting something, going bush to bush to bush. And I guess he realized that this is really going on in real time. He's seeing gnomes, and he's like, he said he let out a gasp, like, oh my gosh. And the one that was keeping a lookout turned towards him, and it let out a little cry, and all of them start running back to that bush. They all jumped inside, gone. And then the dude came up in the vehicle like a minute later, and they had to jump start the car, and they got out of there. Yeah, so that's one of the first little people story that I've heard growing up on the res. My earlier stories, after seeing one myself and realizing that these things are real, very much real. Also, with my brother-in-law story out there in Navajo Mountain, uh, him and his brother, they were going up getting wood, and they were making their way up to the top of the mountain. And before they got to the main base, he said that he looked up. Wait, I believe that a rock flew at him and hit him. Boom. I think there's like the third. By the time the third rock hit him, he looked up, and he saw three about 1 foot tall wild Native Americans, wild Indians. He said, standing there with one had a bow, one had an arrow, drawed his arrow, and the other had a spear. There's three of them, and they had like a little tiny squirrel, like a headdress on, and the way they were dressed, the bow with the little quivers and the little tiny arrows attached, everything just like miniature, just like our old school days. And the one telling me the story, he said he was just like looking at them like amazed, like wow, these little people, they look just like us, but they have long hair and they look like they've been out in the sun all day, like they never took a bath. Really dark, he said. And he heard his brother behind him. He's all, nope, I'm out. And he started running down the mountain. He said he turned, said his brother's already like 100 yards, just flying, taking a huge step going down the mountain. They're in their teens, so he started running too. They said they're flying off. He said he was amazed that they didn't trip. He said if they would have tripped, they'd have been tumbling like probably 200 yards easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're told to stay off of that mountain as well. And that mountain has strange stories. Where if you're on top, told to me by my aunt, my wife's aunt, they have a family member that's a lineman. He takes care of the poles and he inspects them. And he was at the very top, and he got out of his truck to look at this pole, and he heard a voice speaking to him in Navajo, saying that, hey, you better not take 1 ounce, 1 grain of dirt off of this mountain, not even a rock. You better not take anything off this mountain, because if you do, I'm gonna come and take you. And he turned and looked, and it was a cloaked lizard being, 7 foot tall lizard man, and there was more lizard beings behind him. They were all staring at him with their eyes glowing, and it was speaking to him in Navajo. And he just got back in his car and he hauled ass off the mountain. And to this day, he swears to never go back up that mountain. So there's a lot of stories ties with lizard people going after people that are climbing certain parts of the mountain. So that's one of my next adventures that we're gonna do. Try to take some try to take some cameras, night vision, thermal, and I'll be trying to neanderthalining up on top of that mountain. Try to crawl up there. Yeah.
So, I mean, aren't you like a little bit scared to go up there?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
no, because probably the only thing that I'm worried about are people. There's a lot of
Okay.
crackheads out there, and people also tend to do black magic. And that's where I have my medicine man, my remote viewer, my medicine practitioner, 2 of them. So having 2 of them there, they'll help us out, protect us in the physical and in the spiritual realm that we can't see.
So when y'all do
It's
like
gonna
your protection, do you do it like before you go like to this mountain, or would you do it when you get to that mountain?
before and during. Depends how, yeah, it depends how much our my hand trembler feels. Because when there's evil, that his hands will start moving. Because within our culture, we have gifts. We have multiple gifts. Um, some of the gifts involve they're called a hand trembler, and their hands shake whenever there's evil around. Especially skinwalkers, people that do witchcraft, their hands will start shaking, and they'll point to that person. And when you ask them to look ahead at a location, they can go in the astral realm right away. And then if there's a ghost, they'll let you know where they're at. They're like a median, so they're like all that all together in that area, and that he can help you locate where you lost your money, your wallet, your wife, your kids. He can help you find them. He would have to use a horned toad for protection, and for offense he would use a Gila monster when we're trying to go after an enemy to take his life,
Okay.
to set traps. So that's one of the gifts. And then the other one's a crystal gazer. Same type of gifts, but he can make a rock right here project into your life. You'll see yourself, what you're doing, where you dropped your keys. He'll show you, and someone's doing bad witchcraft on you, he'll make that person appear and show you. And then you'll be like, oh, it's that sucker. And there's another one too that sings. So he has to sing some chants in a particular order, in a particular fashion. If he doesn't sing it right, that enchantment, that incantation won't work. Where the portal that he opens up won't work, or he can make things. He can make himself levitate. He can make you levitate. He can make the horse that he's riding levitate. Get to point A to point B quick, because the songs that he's singing, because it's very old. And then there's ones that can jump into any skin. They're the ones that are the messengers, the skinwalkers. So translation, Yei'iitsoh is like the ones that go into the skin and trot around. like wandering around, running, jumping. So that's like the translations. Yei'iitsoh. So it's not just skinwalker. It's like trotting in the skin type of deal. Uh, yeah. So the little people goes on, and especially with my wife's sister, she was back in the 90s. She was herding sheep early 90s out in this area near Keyenta, Arizona. So there's this ridge called Cone Ridge. This ridge goes for miles. It goes into the Abajo Mountains in Blanding, Utah to Keyenta, Arizona. It goes right around the Four Corners area too. Near that area, goes up, and that whole ridge is known to have people that initiate skinwalkers and people that have knowledge of pictographs of how to gain power over the supernatural and the present and all the four elements. So it's just some forbidden teaching. That's what I would say. Some forbidden teaching in that ridge line. Very sacred too. And little people all over that ridge. And this one sister, she was herding sheep back there, and she said that it was towards the evening. She was herding the sheep back, going westbound from the east of the ridge line. So the ridge line's to her south. Then there's mesas to her right. So she's in this little mini canyon cruising along. She noticed that there's probably like about 20 to 30 little tiny figures on this ridge line to her left. And then she looks to her right on the mesa. There's the same thing, 30 little beings. And this canyon gets tighter, and as they're coming closer to her, she's going this tight canyon. She said that they're actually gnomes. All of them are gnomes, and they're showing her their teeth. Their teeth was all jagged. They're all cheese. They're smiling at her. They're following, and she was so scared she barely made it home. They didn't come near her because the sheepdogs were around losing their mind. And after she told me that, her oldest son, he's like, "What the hell, mom?" He's like, uh, about 7 years ago when I was a teenager, because he was 17. He said, like, 7 years ago, he said that I was herding sheep back there with my cousin brother, and he said that same thing. We saw those little gnomes come out, but they came closer to us, and they're showing us their teeth and laughing. And he said that one of the cousins could not move, and the dogs were scared, so he had to like make his brother march, like forced march all the way home. These things followed them all the way to the front door. So that location is very scary, and we're gonna record there, eventually drive down that road. So that road has a few more stories that tie with skinwalkers too, especially with one of my good friends that I have. He was exploring back there, the same area, but he went further back. And he said there was his friend, which was a male, and a lady friend they were both sitting on the passenger side back seat. He had a 90, I think it was a 94 Chevy. So stick shift, two-door, and extended cab type of deal. And he's cruising, and he said he's seen this guy standing in front of the road that goes to this old hogan. He said, looks like He said that when he turned his truck that way to get a better view of this dude that's standing out of nowhere, he said the headlights got on that guy. That guy looked like he was out in the sun all day, and his hair was just messy. It wasn't long, it wasn't too short, but it was just messy. And he was smiling at them already. He walked over to the passenger window, and the guy rolled down the window. He's like, dude, don't roll it down, don't roll it down. His bro still did. He rolled it down low enough where the guy can get his hand, and the guy reached his hand in right away. And oh yeah, Yei'iitsoh, saying hello in Navajo. He shook the passenger's hand. He's like, oh yeah, hello Yei'iitsoh. And he was trying to reach in the back to shake the girl's hand. And the driver, my friend, he's like, don't do it, don't shake his hand. So he shook his head like, no, I'm not going to shake your hand. And he reached his hand back over, and he rolled, and the driver rolled up the window where it was like this much, where it was safe enough. And the guy started talking outside the truck. He's like, yeah, that dance in at Keyenta, the middle school. I'll be there. I'll be there tonight. It's gonna start in an hour. I'll be there. And he's like, what the hell? We're way the hell out here in the boonies. How are you going to get to Kayenta at this time in an hour? So what the hell? I'll be there. He's just shaking his head. And he said, when he looked around, his mouth was like white. So that's one of the tall tale signs that it's a witch, because they have to put white paint on their body before they can shift into a skin, into any animal that they desire. So he forgot to take off the white paint around his lip. So he's like, oh shit. So he backed up and he just took off as they were driving down the hill going back towards Kayenta. His bro that was on the passenger side started throwing up, and he's like, "Ah, I'm dizzy, I can't see, I can't see." And he started throwing up, and he had to give him some bitter powder and pull over the side of the road and tell that guy to throw it up, throw it all up, and to help him out. He finally recovered from being dizzy and all that good stuff that comes with black magic. Watch out whose hand you shake on Navajo land. Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah,
stories from back there.
yeah. I think that's good advice in general. Watch who you touch. Period. Because you don't know what they're involved in.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't know what they're involved in. Especially watch out from some tribes. Don't buy any jewelry from them because they hex the jewelry to control your life and to see what you're doing and try to dictate you any way they can. Physical, like physical abuse, mental abuse, it goes in the same line with witchcraft and those who practice it, those who desire power over another individual. That's when that things get evil.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but several years ago, like my first marriage ended like in 2016, 2017, and shortly after that, I started going through a lot of personal issues. And one of them was alcohol. Um, a friend of mine called me. I was still here in Texas, and they lived in South Carolina. And he called me up out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, Stacy," which was his wife. He's like, "Stacy's really worried about you, and she wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Okay." So it's like she gets on the phone. She's like, "Joe," she goes, "We don't talk about this." She goes, "But I've worked with the Vatican, like exorcisms, and I've done stuff uh, with black magic. Basically on how to counter black magic." And she goes, "You've had me sick for a couple of days." She goes, "I've literally like, been in bed thinking about you or getting this feeling about you." And she started asking me all these questions, and she asked me about the alcohol thing, and I told her, "Yeah," and then she started asking me other questions, and she was, and I was just confirming a lot of what she was asking me. And she says, "Do you know someone?" And she gave me a name. I don't want to say it on the podcast, but she gave me a name, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know this person." It was kind of like a different kind of like if you were to say John. Well, I know Johnny, right? It was kind of like that. Um, and she goes, "Well, this person practices black magic," which I knew. You know, I said, "Okay." And she goes, "She put a hex on you," and I'm like, "Okay." I said, "I'm not surprised because that's what this person does." And she goes, "I'm gonna work on you." She goes, "I promise you, in a couple of days, you're gonna feel fine." 2 days later, I felt great. I felt perfect. You know, it was the craziest thing. But yeah, I think that kind of stuff happens, and people need to be aware of it. And um,
Yeah.
yeah, it happens whether you want to participate with it or not. If somebody wants to do something to you, they're going to do it, and if they know what they're doing, they can really screw you up.
Yeah, yeah, especially like whether you're in Texas in the like urban environment to the Southwest where there's like nobody in the 20-mile radius of you. So same deal, just different area. Same source, but just different practitioners.
Right, exactly. Um, so what cryptid do you personally want to give more? Uh, I guess more time to, or what do you think deserves more? more attention that probably everyone else doesn't think about? Is there anything that you particularly say, you know what, I want to look into this?
Dang, that's a pretty good question there, Joe. Um, because I did think about that, and I do bring it up to people when I'm talking about Sasquatch, and it's a tie with that one because the two cryptids that I believe should be brought up is one would be the Centaur, the half man, half horse,
Dude,
and
and I don't mean to cut you off, but I've talked to two people this week who have told me that they've seen a centaur. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, really, really,
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
know where at.
I'll have to look at their stuff again because I was messaging them on
Oh,
TikTok.
snap. Oh,
Yeah,
snap. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Dang. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Let me know. Shoot, I'm
Okay,
really intrigued on that guy.
yeah.
um, yeah, he's they are around the Four Corners area, and I'm pretty sure they're around the greater, probably the Rocky Mountains. And from what I've gathered from my predecessors, one of them is Randy Caveman Yazzie, and he said that what was told to him from the elders is that they run from sacred mountain to sacred mountain. They run all night, every night, and they hide all day. And there's underground, subterranean, hollow earth entrances that they take all the time. And there's two different types. One is Caucasian looking, like the Greek centaur, the classic Greek centaur with the beard, with the huge white beard and blue skin, blue looking skin, pigment skin, and they both have a satchel. These two centaurs, and has like a man bun type of deal, like a short hair type of deal, like a almost looks like a Navajo hair tie bun type of deal on this guy, but he's Caucasian looking, facial features wise, and they smell like a horse, really bad horse that sweat all day. And the other centaur is Native American looking. That same thing that's been left out in the sun all day that hasn't bathed, so really ashy too, so very dark, and with long hair, kept hair, and it's braided hair. They have a braided hair, and both centaurs are very muscular, very large eyes that are like, you know, owl's eyes, cat's eyes that are nocturnal. And the Native American centaur's tail is braided and has like white socks, different skin tone, looking like buckskin type of deal, red horse type of deal. Um, and they both like to prey on male horses out there, and they like to eat eat the horses and take everything on the horse. And they make their own rope. They have their own rope that's on like crisscross on this side, and their satchel bags on this side. They have a little satchel, so when they swing their rope around, the locals will hear it, and they stay inside the house because some of them know that it's a centaur ready to capture a horse. So they're very territorial. There's been sightings of that from an individual on our show that came on twice. Yeah, a lot of locals report them as well across the Navajo Nation. On my own family too. The first time I had experience and knowledge of them was through my own family member out in Minot Valley. That's the first time I heard of that one in the early 2000s, where I had three cousins jumping on a trampoline, and this was around 11 at night, and the moon was like at least a crescent. It wasn't too bright. So my aunt yelled at her two sons. The other cousin had a different mother, so he was jumping on the trampoline, all three, and the mother, the two younger ones, like, "Hey, you boys better get inside, or the Yei'iitsoh is gonna take you, the Skinwalker." And the two younger ones jumped off the trampoline right away. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm scared." They ran inside. They're about 7 and 9, and the only one that was out there, he was like 13 years old, jumping. He's like, "Man, you guys are all scared." And it's a hogan type of deal, and we have like running water beside that, and there's a big old water trough there for the wild horses. Any horse that's around, they come by and drink beside the octagon. And so as he's jumping around in a circle, looking up at the sky, he's looking up at the moon and the stars, and looking towards the southeast. And behind him in the southwest, like the western area, was coming the horse. He heard it coming. And as he was turning around, jumping in place, he said he started turning like this, jumping one spot to see this horse. And he said that in the it was so in the octagon, there's a porch light, and it's limited on this very area. So if he's looking towards the octagon right now, the porch light's here. So the porch light's only giving him light and has like a line right there. And in this darkness coming from the west, Hogan's right here. The road goes right here. This what he thought was a horse was coming. When he looked that way, he saw a red pair of red glowing eyes, like at least 15 feet, 17 feet tall. And he stopped jumping because the red eyes caught his attention. It was glowing. And in that that being came into the light of that porch. And he said that it was a black horse, like a full-on black horse, and it was a man's upper torso, and he had long hair, and his face was painted white, had white face paint on. So one of the stories I've been hearing is also some different parts of the reservation, they have yellow paint, face paint, and their hair is really well kept, really dark. They have dark eyes. Um, yeah, I've been hearing that these centaurs are well kept the way they keep their hair. Um, so my cousin, seeing this centaur coming close to him on the trampoline, he jumped off the trampoline to the porch, ran to the door. Whole time he's keeping his eye on the centaur, and the centaur is walking towards him still, adjusting his direction of walk. And the centaur started walking up the ramp to the door, because we have a ramp for my great grandmother that we pushed her up in her wheelchair. This thing was going up the wooden ramp towards him, and he said that his hand was stuck on the screen door. He couldn't open it. He said he had to use all his muscles. He finally opened that button. He fell into the doorway. Boom! Everyone just heard him flop, and he was screaming. His head was on the ground. He was screaming and crying for his older brother. My aunt ran over there and dragged him and closed the door because she heard the centaur walking on towards the front door. She locked it, and this thing started kicking the door, and it started running around the octagon, and it started kicking the walls too. And she was yelling to it in Navajo, "Go bother someone else! Leave us alone! Leave us alone! Get out of here!" And she was looking out the window because this thing was running around the house, and as it was running around, it was making a war cry, like a Native American war cry. That it was doing that, but louder. And she seen the car driving on the dirt road, like about a half a mile, three-quarters of a mile away, driving slow. She's like, "Well, you go bother those guys." Saying that now, they heard the. They said that that thing ran towards that light, that car. That car stopped. They said that car stopped in place for about a good minute. They said that car, they noticed that it started peeling off. The headlights were turning like this, and it was hauling ass down the dirt road. Then they heard it came back again. It came back. It was running around the house. It was screaming. It was like kicking the door, the walls of the octagon. So it was around there for about a good hour or so, and it finally left. Yeah, that's the first time I heard of a centaur from my own family members.
And did your aunt know what it was?
Our family, my mother, my grandpa, my grandmother, um, everyone always brushed them off and Bigfoot off as a skinwalker. That's the only way they would cope with things, because one of the things that not a lot of people know is that these centaurs will rob the grave. They'll eat dead bodies and they'll take jewelry. All these centaurs are spotted wearing rings to bracelets to necklace to full on sterling silver and turquoise jewelry. These things rob the grave. So certain tribes, when they bury their own tribal members, they have to watch the grave for 4 days and 4 nights. And not only centaurs rob graves, skinwalkers rob graves too. And they cannibalize and they have to have sex with dead bodies and their own family members, incest, necrophilia, to show their allegiance to the dark side.
That is
Yeah, it's
creepy.
crazy.
That is creepy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope
it's
anyone
very scary.
watching can sleep well. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I brought up the centaur to my mother and she stood up, she's like, "Oh my god." And she gave me the information that was passed down to her. So that's one of the main reasons why we have the podcast, is to bridge the gap from the old generation to the babies to the newer ones. So us millennials are here for a reason. We're here to help, educate the world about our tribe and our identity, and that to show the world that there's more cryptids that we know about, not just the Sasquatch that Joe Rogan thinks that we only have just a few cryptids. We got a shitload of cryptids out there. We
Yeah.
have the dragon, we have the flying water serpent, the giant snake with horns flying above ground. Straight up Appa Avatar shit.
Yeah.
So these strange cryptids are out there.
So like
They're
in
amazing.
so like the younger generation, especially like in the Navajo, how is how's their outlook at all this cryptid stuff? Do they take it in well, or do they say, "Man, my elders are just crazy"?
Oh, a lot of us a lot of us are some of us are lucky enough to get passed down these stories, and I get reached out from everyone from all ages saying that my grandpa told me this story, my grandmother told me that story, I've seen this, there's a pictograph of that creature over here. So there's a lot of correlation going on with all of our old stories to current events, and the awareness and putting the pieces of the puzzle together is a very good feeling for us, and putting the awareness out there. Some people say leave the Sasquatch alone, feed them. And I was like, well, yeah, go ahead, feed them. They're gonna follow you home. They're gonna take all your livestock. Then they're gonna come and take you after that. So there's a lot of teaching going on with that.
Yeah. Well, shit, man, we're coming up towards the end of the show, but I wanted you to give a chance to talk about your show one more time to give people information on how they can find you, and where they can find you, and how they can contact you if they want.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. Uh, so you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and the United Public Radio Network, uprntalk.com. On YouTube, Spotify, you can find our shows called Don't Whistle at Night podcast. Same thing with TikTok. We're on same name, Don't Whistle at Night podcast. We do go live. I try to go live weekly on TikTok. There you can interact with me, a lot of my team members. A lot of other people like to interact and share stories and joke around, just be yourself. I do go live on TikTok as well, live investigations, boots on the ground, UFO sky watch, Bigfoot calling. We go live every week there. Yeah, if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to Joe. I'll give out my email and number to him. So we'll have all that ready to go for you guys.
Yeah, cool, man. So like one of the things that I do is like I'll look up Bigfoot like on TikTok or even Reddit. I don't know if you get on Reddit or not, and I'll find people and they'll have their stories and I'll message them, and that's how I told you I contacted the two people that have the Centaur sightings. One of them, I think his uncle or his dad saw it and he wants to tell the story. But anyway, so as I go through some of these comments and stuff, I'll see your logo up there, like wherever you've commented too. That's
Uh,
pretty funny, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like what I do. Dude, if you want to find some witnesses, Reddit's a good place to go to. Just search up Bigfoot or Skinwalkers. I haven't tried Centaur, but I'm gonna try that and see what I come up with. Um,
oh yeah, I'll check
yeah,
it out definitely.
yeah. Um,
And
and
one more
one thing,
thing too,
yeah, go ahead.
the other The other cryptid one, just to answer your question, the other cryptid that's tied with Centaur is gargoyle.
Okay. I think I came across somebody on a TikTok forum that was talking about gargoyle, that they saw a gargoyle too, but I didn't message them. If I can find their stuff again, maybe I'll go back and look for them. Yeah. One of the things I want to do with the show is uh, is have like eyewitnesses only. Like you're an investigator and researcher, and of course you're an eyewitness also. But I want to kind of move on in that direction. Maybe have like a different segment. I want to call it, Beyond the Woodline Night Hunt, and just talk to people who have had actual sightings and stuff like that. And that's what I was doing on TikTok. I've been trying to find, witnesses and stuff, and that's why I got on Reddit, is to find witnesses. Uh, but yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Have a good segment like the hunter turns the hunted. That's
There
how I
you go.
felt with my first Sasquatch.
Oh, really? Yeah, dude. I gotta have you on again, man. You got some great stories and some great experiences. A lot of knowledge, really. And that's been passed down to you too. So I love to have you back on again.
Oh, most
Yeah.
definitely, Joe. Not a problem.
All right. Well, cool, man. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in tonight. I do appreciate it. You guys have any questions? You guys want to contact Don? And you can't get in contact with him? Contact me. I've got his number. I've got his email. You know, uh, I've known him for a couple of years at least, and so he'll answer me. So yeah, get in contact with me if you can't get in contact with him yourself. And tune in next Sunday. It's either going to be at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening again. Can't remember who I'm having on. I think they're a paranormal team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'll start promoting that show probably Wednesday or Thursday. And for everyone else, you guys have a great night. Don, thanks a lot once again, and yeah, keep in touch, buddy. Yeah, I'll have you on again.
Oh yeah. Appreciate it. Likewise, Joe. Likewise. Appreciate coming on. Thank you for having me on.
All right, don't go anywhere. Everyone else, good night.